A broken game with a great core and a soul is inherently better than a broken game that is cold, calculated, and corporate. And a game with soul is exactly what Stalker 2 is. Out of the last 2 days that Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl has been out, I've been playing it as much as possible. And I can definitely say that this game is extremely special. This game is made with soul, this game is made with heart. And unlike a lot of other big AAA games that have released in the past year or two, I can't say the same for those games. Where we have a game like Stalker 2 that is insanely good. But of course, apart from the bugs that people have been experiencing and the PC performance issues that people have been experiencing and the console performance issues, other than that, this game is special. And I am super proud of GSC Game World for producing a game of this size and of this stature in the middle of a war. They need commendation for that. It is insane that they were able to produce something on this level. And I'm very happy that the gaming industry has been taking kindly to what GSC has put out. The gaming community itself. The game received over 100,000 players concurrently on Steam. And it's also in Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass. And I'm playing it through PC Game Pass, so there will be some others who play it through Game Pass like myself, but a high majority of people have bought the game. There are 1 million copies sold, even in a game where you do not need to buy it whatsoever. And it's on Xbox and PC only, no PlayStation 5 port. Hopefully it gets one within the next few years. But right now, 1 million copies sold in the first 2 days. It has beaten out a lot of other big AAA titles. Stalker 2 has hit that point, and I really feel like it has hit this point where it's going to be a big franchise. I know it's a huge franchise in the PC community, but it's going to be even bigger in the console community when they release console mods, which they are doing at some point, when multiplayer comes out, which I'm extremely excited to play, and when they release all of these other DLC, story expansion, and features. Because what they have at the game's core right now is near perfection, especially with a tactical first-person shooter standpoint. But the one thing that Stalker 2 really gets right is that it is just fun, even if it is painfully difficult at some points, where I can be stressed out, or I can just be in a firefight with like 6 enemies, and I'm surrounded, and I accidentally shoot a friendly, which I did do. You'll probably see somewhere in this gameplay. I accidentally did shoot one of the friendly guys. I had to reload a save. But those points where it's extremely tricky and extremely difficult and extremely just adrenaline pumping, where you're fighting 6, 7 enemies and you're like worrying about how much ammo you have, how much medicine you have, your gun starts jamming, so you gotta get to cover. I have to switch to my shotgun or my pistol. It's so fun, and it's something I want to see out of more AAA titles in the future. Not like in particular with like realism, but with just a game being fun, because I really feel like that's where gaming should be at in 2024. We should be focusing on the fun aspect, because for the past decade, there's been complaints about games being filled with microtransactions, not being finished, being buggy, and yes, Stalker 2 is one of those games that is not fully finished. This game definitely could have had more time in the oven to be cooked, right? This game could have been polished up more. But like I said at the start of the video, a broken game with soul is inherently better than a broken game that is cold, calculated, and corporate. And Stalker 2 is a game that has soul. It is a game that you can see, that has effort, that has people who care about video games, the people who care about the Stalker franchise. They love this franchise, and they want us to enjoy the game that they created. And I have been loving my time with this game. I've been enjoying it heavily. I have had many struggles, with some difficulty spikes, but overall, again, it's the game, right? This is basically, and I've seen people call it this, so this isn't just out of my words, they've called it like the Elden Ring of first-person shooters, right? Like the Souls version of a first-person shooter. That is nearly what this game is, especially if you play it on veteran difficulty, which I tried to. I had to lower it to standard because I was just getting pissed off. But on veteran difficulty, this game is the Elden Ring of first-person shooters. And if you want a challenge, I highly recommend that you try that out. I mean, some of like the little mini side quests that I've found in the game alone. I found this one abandoned construction site with this guy, I forgot his name, something, the legend. I talked to him, and he's like, you know what, you're looking for one thing, right? And it's loot, right? We don't need to fight. He led me to a stash. the stash said, don't trust people who send you off and promise you really good loot into this random area. And I received a lot of radiation trying to get there. It was on top of this construction vehicle, and it was like a piece of paper and like a broken gun and some ammo. I went back to the area to go kill the guy as I was going to go collect all of their weapons. Unfortunately, they left. I didn't bother to load a save because I thought, you know what? I'm gonna let him live. But if I see him again, he's definitely gonna die. Another opportunity or another little situation that I thought was really cool, I was climbing a watchtower, and I looked at the top and noticed I was too high to jump onto any building. So I went down off the watchtower, went onto the building beside it, and noticed there was an anomaly. Every time I walked into it, it kind of pushed me up into the air. So I immediately climbed up that watchtower, jumped off into the anomaly, and survived. And I thought that was so cool. I was amazed. Stalker 2 also excels at its world and how you can find quests. I climbed a crate and then a construction vehicle, went into a broken part of a roof, and found a house full of bodies and a radio. And the person on the radio told me that their courier, the people in the house, were killed, and that they took the package that the courier was supposed to deliver. I then went to go kill the people who stole the package. I could negotiate with them, so I didn't kill them, and then delivered the package. It is something that is not related to the main quest whatsoever, but people won't find unless they take the time to get into that house, because the doors are locked. You have to go in the way that I went in. You have to go in through the roof. You have to get your way onto the construction vehicle to climb over. If you completely ignore that, you will not have that little mini quest with those few side characters. Stuff like that in games like Stalker, in games like Fallout, in games that are in these big open worlds, or why games like Stalker 2 have such soul and such character to them. Every 5 minutes, every few minutes even, I find something interesting. Whether it's some bandits, whether it's a house with some loot with a note, whether it's a mini side quest, whether it's a character who dropped his gun in some radiated water for me to go get it, and then I kept the gun because it was actually a really good gun. All I had to do was repair it. Things like that keep this game interesting and show that Stalker 2 has a soul, even if the game is broken. It is inherently better than the majority of AAA modern gaming that we have had in the past several years. And there have been games like this every single year. We've seen it with Elden Ring, we've seen it with Baldur's Gate 3, and now I think we're seeing it with Stalker 2. I do not believe Stalker 2 will be as successful as those games, but I feel like it'll be more successful than it would have been if it released 6-7 years ago. If you have not played Stalker 2 or have no interest in it, I highly recommend that you try this game out. It's on Game Pass again. If you play on PlayStation, unfortunately you'll have to wait. I am assuming the game will definitely come out to PlayStation probably in a few years because again, they're in the middle of a war. They're going to be fixing bugs, fixing performance issues, releasing the rest of the content they want to release, and then probably work on the PS5 port. I have no doubt that it could come earlier, or that maybe it'll come way later. We don't know. But if you haven't played this game, you should. I really feel like you should. Even if it's through Game Pass, even if you want to take that chance and just buy it, it is an amazing game. It is a game that is worth your time. Even if you play it on the easiest difficulty, and you just want to play it for its aesthetic and for its environments and for what the game has to offer, completely fine, obviously. No one's expecting you to go out and play this game on Veteran because it's a Stalker franchise. Yes, it's a difficult game, but it can be made easier with accessibility. And I really feel like this game is truly a special video game that a lot of people should play. 2024 has been a year with many, many lackluster releases. Stalker 2, on a performance and bug systems and level, it is lackluster. But the game as a whole is amazing. It is absolutely brilliant. I commend GSC Game World for releasing this game in the state that they are in, and the state that the game is in, and I can't wait to see more of this game in the future.